What's up? My name is Eric Butler. This channel is called Report and Opine. I am back, and from MovieWeb, Juwanna Mann star says a sequel is happening. Miguel A. Nunez Jr. says that a sequel to Juwanna Mann is now in the works. And this is obviously fairly funny because 20 plus years ago, which I guess sounds like a long time, but it wasn't. I can remember it. These were all jokes, right? In Living Color, Dave Chappelle's show, the black white supremacists, list goes on. But now there's a group of people who are taking this really quite seriously. And not only that, they are forcing other people to take it seriously as well, even though it makes absolutely no sense. They say, after more than 2 decades, it would appear that Juwanna Mann is getting a sequel. The news comes from actor Miguel A. Nunez Jr., the star of the original film that was released in 2002. In that movie, Nunez plays Jamal Jeffries, a professional basketball player whose controversial antics get him dropped by his team. So back then, of course, he was doing this to get back on the team, not just to win because he knew he was subpar as a male athlete. And that's what we're seeing happening now. Eager to get back on the court, Jamal dresses up as a woman using the alias Juwanna Mann, proceeding to join a professional women's basketball league while keeping up the charade. All in all, the experience ends up helping him to become a better person. So I don't think at that particular point in time anybody was mad about it, and that's how quick it's happened. I realize 20 years doesn't sound that quick, but when we go from full-length feature films and television series all dedicated to this as being a joke to now you can't even talk about it. You can't even have a difference of opinion. You got Leah Thomas out there mad at actual feminists who say, okay, I'll respect your right to be a woman, but maybe it's not so cool when you start taking over women's sports. They're not even good enough, even though they halfway capitulate, because as we know, you need to 100% capitulate. Not 99, not 99 and a half, not 99.999. 100% capitulation will be demanded at any given time. It continues. While recently speaking with TMZ, Nunez divulged that Juwanna Mann 2 is now in development. And I still don't really know if I believe this is actually going to happen. He was just at the airport and he probably hasn't been approached by the paparazzi in a really long time, so he had to say something to get clicks. But we shall see. When asked if Juwanna Mann 2 was the kind of movie that could be made today, Nunez said that the sequel is already in the works. Nunez admits that it was complicated to get the ball rolling on the project as the movie's plot could be seen as more problematic today. And there's a buzzword that doesn't mean anything. Problematic just means something that doesn't go along with our narrative 110%. Additionally, it's taken some creativity to figure out how to advance the story, given how the character was exposed in the original film. As the actor explains, quote, yes, they are going to do it. We are doing Juwanna Mann 2. Yeah, I can't give you the details, but if you're right, you're right. It was complicated because of issues now and because of the fact that he was exposed. But I can't give away the story. We're working on that right now. So it sounds like if this is going to happen, it's brand new and it's going to be quite a while. And maybe by the time this actually comes out, people will have backed off this extreme gender ideology just a tiny bit, but I doubt it because this is the world that we're in. This is the war that we are dealing with right now. It's not going to be with muskets and hot kinetic conflict. It's going to be for the thoughts of people and a lot of kids also, right? That's why they're really pushing these weirdo books on kids. But of course, that is a different story, and I digress. They continue. Nunez also feels confident that the sequel won't be offensive. Now, again, saying it won't be offensive doesn't mean anything because people can literally be offended at anything, and that's no way to go about living your life. As soon as somebody says they're offended, then that's it. That's the end of the discussion. I mean, people can be offended at the shoes you wear. People can be offended at how you style your hair. That doesn't make it right. So if you're trying to make sure that the film is not offensive, you're going to fail, in my humble opinion. That the sequel won't be offensive, believing that the WNBA and the LGBTQ community won't have any major issues with what they're planning to do. And just you talking like that, pretending that it won't be offensive and they won't have an issue, trust me, they will find an issue. Well, because maybe you should have cast a real transgender to play the role. I mean, the list goes on. You can find anything that somebody is going to be mad about, right? I mean, to take an example that's maybe apples to oranges, London Breed, San Francisco mayor, Gavin Newsom is saying that he wants to deploy the National Guard to get rid of the fentanyl in San Francisco. And London Breed a couple of months ago said, well, we think the Honduran immigrant population is the one fueling the drug crisis. And now they're mad at her because that was racist. So they can find anything. That's my point. I realize that the fentanyl thing is maybe a little bit hard hitting for this particular subject matter, but they will find anything. That's their whole game. That's the whole reason they do anything is to be angry, is to have grievance, is to get a victim card. That's their reason for living, basically. So they will find something, especially if you say they won't. While Juwanna Mann didn't feature the NBA, instead calling the movie's pro basketball league the UBA and WUBA with fictional teams, there were several pro basketball stars from the NBA and WNBA who had roles in the film. Nunez teases that there will be real-life basketball stars brought in for the film, going so far as to say Draymond Green is somebody who's already lobbying to get a spot in the sequel. Yeah, Draymond loves the attention, right? That's why he does his podcast, even though he clearly doesn't have to. He's a 4-time NBA champion. He doesn't need to be on the internet all day, but he is, and he likes the attention, so I'm sure he does want to be in that movie. And shout out Draymond. I rock with Draymond, and the whole Warriors team, is cringy as they are politically. That, of course, is a different story. In the first one, here's a quote here. In the first one, we had the winning championship team girls, so I don't know how we're going to do this one, but I'm sure we'll have some of them, and they will all want to be involved. Draymond Green, he wants to be involved as well. Juwanna Mann was directed by Jesse Vaughn and written by Bradley Allenstein, along with Miguel A. Nunez Jr. in the lead role. The film stars Vivica Fox, Kevin Pollak, Tommy Davidson, Kim Wayne's Genuine, and Kimberly Lil Kim Jones. There is no word yet on when Juwanna Mann 2 may start filming or when it will be released. So you got to imagine that even when it starts filming, it's probably going to take at least a year. And like I said, maybe by that time, people will have taken their foot off the gas of this radical gender ideology, but probably not. So I don't know if I'm confident this will actually happen, but it is a step in the right direction, I suppose, that maybe we can continue to make a joke about this, or maybe they're going to go completely woke and it'll be something that isn't even remotely similar to the original Juwanna Mann, which I guess I did see but don't quite remember. It's always just been a joke to me. I've just been using it as a meme for the past couple years, but here it's back, and we shall see how this plays out. So thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, and of course, subscribe.